Hey guys, it's Adrian over BHA here, bringing you a new video. This is following in our Docker series here. This is installing nodered in Docker. So I really haven't had a chance to play with nodered all that much. I know everybody has been talking about it, and it looks like it has a lot of cool features that will definitely benefit Home Assistant, but I just haven't had a chance to really play with it all that much. But I will show you how to get it installed in Docker. It's a pretty easy setup, not that hard to install, and at the end we'll even show you how to set it up in a panel iframe as well on Home Assistant so that it's all there in the side menu with your Home Assistant and everything. So let's do a quick run through of everything we're going to cover in this video. So of course we're going to start by basically installing nodered in Docker. Once that's done, we're going to install the nodered admin tool. After that, we are ready to set up our username and password. Once that's set up, let's go ahead and log into nodered. Next, we'll show you how to set it up as a panel iframe in Home Assistant so that you'll have it there on that side menu. And lastly, I'll just kind of show you what that looks like in action. So let's get started. Of course, for starters, like I said, we're going to install nodered in Docker. There's a couple of prerequisites that we need to do to make this work properly. So we're going to start by creating a directory for our config. So we'll do an mkdir node-red. Once that's done, we want to make sure that the Docker container runs with the proper permissions. So we're going to do an ID and make sure we get our GID and UID for our user that we're going to run the Docker container with. I'm using my Adrian user account, so I'm just going to use UID 1000 and GID 1000. Once all that's done, we are ready to install nodered in Docker. So I'll have it in the description below, so you can just copy and paste it. We're going to start by doing a docker run-d. We'll give it a name of node-red. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to do a dash restart equals always. Now the port that nodered uses is 1880, so we'll do a -p 1880:1880. Next we're going to do a -u, and this is where we're going to list out our UID and our GID. So remember those were 1000, so we'll do a -u 1000:1000. Next is a -v. Now this is that directory that we created earlier, so we're going to point it at that directory. So we'll do a /home/adrian/node-red:/data. And then lastly, we just need to point it at the nodered Docker Hub. And specifically, we're going to use version 8. That's the one that seems to work the best with HAS. That's the one that seems to work the best with Home Assistant. So we'll do a nodered/node-red-docker:\v8. Hit enter. I'll go ahead and fast forward through this so that you're not waiting around for it to finish. Once that's done, we're going to move over to portainer and just take a look at that container. We'll click on containers here. There's nodered listed at the top. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. Looks like it's been up for a few minutes now. And there it is pointed at our volume that we created. So everything looks good. We are ready to move on to the next step. Alright, now we're ready to install the nodered admin tool. Now I will list out a prerequisite on here that I'm not going to actually do, and that's to install npm. So if you don't already have npm installed, you will need that for this to work. Alright, so we're going to do a sudo npm install -g node-red-admin. And this is a pretty quick install, so it shouldn't take very long to install it. We'll fast forward through it so you're not waiting around for it to finish. Alright, so we are going to set up a username and password just to make sure that our nodered is secure. So I'm going to move into that nodered directory where our config is set up. And I'll do an ls here just to show you that it does have all the config files in there. Alright, so we're going to do a node-red-admin space #pw. And it will prompt you to type in a password. You can type in whatever you want. When you're done, it will list out a hashed key for the password, so you just want to copy that because you're going to use that in just a second. Alright, now we are ready to edit the settings.js file. And we're looking for a section that says admin auth. So if you want to search for that, it should be commented out, and we're going to make that change there and uncomment it. So you can leave everything the same except for the password. You're going to change that hashed key to the one that you just copied from the password you set up. So we'll delete all this out. And then we're going to paste in that password. Once that's in there, we can go ahead and save that. Now let's jump over and restart nodered just to make sure that it does pick up the changes that we just made. So here we are in portainer. We're going to select nodered. Just do restart. Alright, so now it should be prompting us for a username and password. Alright, let's move over to nodered and try out our new username and password. So here we are at the logon screen for nodered. As you can see, it is now prompting us for a username and password. If we hadn't set that up, it would have gone straight into nodered. We access nodered by going to our Docker host IP address. So for me, that's 10.10.10.5, and then the port is 1880. And that brought us here to this login page. We're going to log in with admin and that password that we just set up. And as you can see here, we are inside nodered. Of course, it's blank because we haven't done anything to it. But it does prompt us for a username and password, and it does allow us in. So we are good to go. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step. Alright, so we want to create a panel iframe so that whenever we want to access nodered, we can do it straight from Home Assistant. So we're going to edit our panel_iframe.yaml file. As you can see, I still have mine in there from when I set up Tasmo admin. So we're going to go ahead and add in a new one just below that. I'm going to call it nodered. Give it a title of node-red. Again, you can call it whatever you want. Now the URL will be the URL that we just tried out. So it'll be http://10.10.10.5:1880. And then the icon, you don't have to set an icon. It'll use just kind of a default. I'm just going to use the Node.js icon, so we'll do a mdi::Node.js. Once we have that in there, we're going to go ahead and save it. And let's move over to portainer and restart Home Assistant for those changes to take effect. Here we are in portainer. We'll go ahead and select has and hit restart. And it'll take a minute or so to come back up. Alright, so here we are at the Home Assistant front end, and there on the side menu there, of course there's Tasmo admin that we'd already set up, and there's our new one that we just created, node-red. So if we go over there and click on that, As you can see, it brought up the nodered login page. So we can log in with our nodered username and password, and now we have nodered running inside of Home Assistant. Again, I love the panel iframe idea. I think it's great to have one centralized location for all of our stuff. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Like I said, it's a pretty easy setup. Not very hard to install. I love having everything run in Docker. Makes it so much easier to manage. I haven't got to play with nodered that much yet, as I already said, but again, I've heard a lot about it, and I know it works very well with Home Assistant. And hopefully this video will help everybody that does use nodered to get it up and running in a Docker container. Let's do a quick run through of everything we covered in this video. So of course we started by installing nodered in Docker. Once that was done, we installed the nodered admin tool. Once that was installed, we were ready to set up our username and password. After that, we logged into nodered just to kind of show you how that worked. Once that was done, we set up a panel iframe in Home Assistant so that you were able to access nodered straight from Home Assistant. And lastly, I just kind of showed you what that looked like in action. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. And as always, if there are any videos out there that you'd like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around. Thanks.